very good afternoon to one and all present over in this online platform. We are very much happy to host this online webinar. The Department of Lifelong Learning, Alagappa University, in collaboration with Department of Lifelong Learning and Extension, Gandhigram Rural Institute, Gandhigram, Department of Adult and Continuing Education, Sri Venkateswara University, Tirupathi, Department of Lifelong Learning, Bharathidasan University, Tiruchirappalli, Indian Adult Education Association, New Delhi, and CTEF chapter of Tamil Nadu, organizing this online webinar on perspectives of lifelong learning in the light of NEP 2020. We are more privileged to conduct this online webinar. I welcome wholeheartedly all the people those who are joined in this online platform. My utmost welcome to all the resource persons who have accepted our invitation to join this online platform on discussion on perspectives of lifelong learning in the light of NEP 2020. I take immense pleasure in welcoming Dr. R. Venkateswara, HOD, the Department of Lifelong Learning and Extension. Next, I would like to take immense pleasure in welcoming Dr. L. Raja, who is the President of Indian Adult Education Association, and is also a Senior Professor in the Gandhigram Rural Institute of the Department of Lifelong Learning. We welcome you, sir. Next, we would like to welcome the most senior professor, and also he is a person who is humble at heart. It is none other than Dr. J.P. Dubey, sir, to this session on online platform. We welcome you wholeheartedly, sir. Next, we would also like to welcome Dr. R.B. Satyavadi, who is the head of the Department of Adult and Continuing Education, SV University. We will accord our welcome to all the research scholars, all the academic fraternity who have joined this online platform. On behalf of the Department of Lifelong Learning and on all the departments, we wholeheartedly extend a hearty welcome to you all. Next, I would like to welcome Dr. R. Venkateswara, sir, who is the head of the Department of Lifelong Learning, to deliver the felicitation address. Over to you, Professor.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. And the most respected, the President of Indian Adult Education Association, Professor L. Raja, the adult education, and then adult education, continuing education and extension. And then finally, we have graduated to a level of lifelong learning and extension. So the journey started in 1980s. It is about 40 years of eventful journey for the academic fraternity in the field of lifelong learning and extension. And why I'm adding this extension is, it is in the case of Gandhigram Rural Institute, not only the adult education and lifelong learning, and it has been tagged and added with extension. And I am proud to say that probably my colleague Dr. Raja will also add to that when during his turn. But beware, in the what I call the piloting the whole thing in the field of adult education, along with a couple of other universities. So again, we got a relook when we met in Sri Venkateswara University for a seminar which was organized by Sudharani, and the idea was commonly emerged. The head of the department here, Dr. Satyavadi and Johnson and me and Professor Sudharani, we were contemplating that why not we can come together on a platform where only think about it. Then, though I was not able to get in touch on the line with Dr. Raja sir, since I was away from the campus, I wanted to get his green signal, then go ahead. But when I came back and I said, this is an idea that we would like to bring together our community who are very close in particularly down south. We all can come together and we can think of it, how to go about it. we have a very interesting challenges. I do not know whether I can use this particular jargon. We are also, to an extent, being marginalized. We also being academically being not inclusive when it comes in many academic pursuits. And we are proud to say that in the last 40-45 years, our Pitamadas along with senior professors have done a wonderful work, and we happen to be in threshold for reaching the community in many places. That is what nowadays either the all bodies at the national level is talking about, the community outreach, also community engagement. Which completely, it is our baby. It is our baby. The baby has given birth by the adult education field. So then it took me a very systematic level, and I know that the bigger national level firm, the Indian Adult Education Association, in which we are all part of it. So having so many things and putting so many ideas and make that we are all lively, we are working. This is a challenge. But what is happening particularly in our departments, that is not only our department, in the department domain, departments which is working in that particular domain, we are engaged in all the three dimensions of higher education. Teaching, that is, we have an academic programs, either collaborating with the departments who are offering various programs, various courses, or we have our own programs like university or Bharathidasan.
Today with a very important topic, that's perspectives of lifelong learning in the light of NEP 2020. Am I audible, Dr. Johnson?
Yes, Professor, you are audible. You are audible.
Okay. I just wanted to check it so that, I should not go without having a proper connectivity.
You shall go ahead, Professor.
Okay, thank you. And I'm really happy, doubly, because there are very good speakers and special address to those who are going to give. One of my best friend, the senior most professor, Dr. J.P. Dubey, from the Department of Adult and Lifelong Learning, Educations in the Delhi University, a long-time friend. We usually meet in Delhi when we go for the National Testing Agency and the UGC, the confidential work. So I also I'm happy that Dr. Satyavadi, the head of the department of SV University, and Dr. Kumadavalli, I don't know whether she joined because she has been given another responsibilities and assignment there, and today she would be in Chennai, but she would be joining, I hope. And all of them, they have joined, and they made this day, it's a very special day for all of us, and to be together. And as the UNESCO preamble says that lifelong learning means learning to understand, learning to know, learning to to do, and learning to be together. So we come together today and to discuss about a very important topic, which is really spearheading all over the country. And what are the perspectives there are many perspectives in the lifelong learning, adult and lifelong learning. At the same time, the new education policy has given a very, very important various dimensions for us to work, and from the grassroots level to higher level, from G to G, from grassroots level to at the global level. And that's what the Gandhigram Rural Institute has been pioneering in this G to G programs. And as one of my the co-organizer and my friend Dr. Venkateswara said, that this is the platform wherein we come together and share our knowledge, experience, and expertise for transformations. Because our own seniors are there today, they joined, but they have many, they have led their life for the adult education. For example, today we have the tribute to Dr. K.S. Pillai from Kerala. He was the one who really did a wonderful work in the southern parts of India and also in Kerala. He was the pioneering in the Kerala, the literacy movement in Kerala. So like that, there are many. They have toiled, they spent their time, life for the adult educations. Now, the new dimensions here in the National Education Policy 2020, what is that the adult and lifelong learning they say, and what is it about, and how are we going to do it? Some of us, we already started doing this, but still there are many colleges and universities, they are finding it very difficult to go about in this. So there are many opportunities. This is the first perspectives I would like to say. There are many opportunities for the fundamental literacy and obtain an education, pursue a livelihood, as it is in the basic rights of every citizen. Every citizen, that they have the rights to educate and learn, and to also learn the fundamental literacy. The second one is that the basic education open up whole new worlds of personal, civic, economic, and lifelong learning opportunities. Here, we always talk about the adult education means the age group 15 from between 15 and 35. But here in the lifelong learning, from womb to doom, there is no age. There is no, so there is a possibility of having opportunities of learning from the womb to the doom, and also it enables to progress personally and professionally, because in some of us, we always talk about the professionalism. What is the new dimensions in the professionalism in the lifelong learning? And so the professionalism comes out of our own commitment. Professionalism comes out of our own experience and expertise. And so there is a possibilities of learning and also updating and upgrading our professionalism and our personality. And another dimension is basic educations are powerful force in the multipliers which greatly enhance the success of other development efforts. There are many development efforts the government of India is taking at the same time, and in all the aspects, the developmental efforts and the efforts would be succeeded only the lifelong learning and adult education gets into the main focus. And in the realm of correlations between the literacy and the rates of the per capita, so literacy stands the first, and it is not only in India, it's a worldwide phenomena. Wherever the literacy rates are high and the development is also high. So it is that we have already experiencing this in this. The other dimensions I would like to highlight here is field exposures. That is, otherwise it is called extension experiences. The volunteerism and community involvement, or in other ways it is community engagement, is very, very important, and mobilizing the local people for succeeding the adult literacy for connecting both in terms of all aspects, political, social, economic, and all other aspects for the total and overall development. And it is also, we need to have proper planning, adequate financial support, and high quality capacity building, and also the educators' volunteerism is also very, very important. And also in this another dimensions, the community participations in the positive social change. This is very, very important, because whether we talk about the adult education or lifelong learning, whether it is a higher education or a basic education, here the community participations for positive social change, it is very important when we talk about this lifelong learning. And innovative initiatives is also very important. In this regard, the government of India has given the responsibilities to the NCRT, in Delhi, and to to prepare the curriculum for imparting the literacy at the different levels. That is, one is the fundamental literacy and numeracy. Second one is basic education and critical life skills, vocational skill development, and continuing educations. These 5 areas they have dwelt with, and also they conducted a lot of workshops and training, and we have been experiencing with them. And also they have developed the online teaching as well as by using the technology for techno educations and techno literacy. So these are all the initiatives that they have taken, and the innovative initiatives also very important for us to go through the innovative initiatives on adult education, particularly facelifting the community involvement and for smooth functioning of the beneficial integrations and by using the technology. And also another important dimensions, in order to fulfill the full literacy, the consortium, the stakeholders approach, all education institutions, starting from the primary to the PhD level, we have to all come together and to strongly commit ourselves and to work together to achieve this 100% or fully literate country in the years to come. In the, as I said earlier, the curriculum development dimensions, NCRT has already developed. They also started implementing through the various government agencies and the national adult educators as well as the government institutions, but it is not enough. And what the NCRT is doing, what the government is expecting to do it, what the dimensions in which it is going, it is not enough. And we have to have a proper infrastructure facilities in order to bring all of us together to achieve these greater dimensions of the adult and lifelong learning. And in this, and there are many, many people, those who are unable to reach, like the physically challenged, differently abled people, and the remote areas where they are not able to reach out the materials and machines, and such areas also we have to take into considerations for making them to understand and also learn these lifelong learning aspects.
A privilege to be in company of the people like you. But you start with something that you are going to talk something. While listening to the others, you decide not to talk on those issues. Then the discrimination process begins and it filters down to something which is something entirely different. You begin with some thought processes and you end up communicating something which is may or may not be related to directly. But it's a wonderful opportunity for me to be in the company, and I am likely to be using this platform by sharing something which is little historical, some contemporary, some concerns, and what lies in the future. Because the time limit is granted to me is of 30 minutes, and I will respect that as well. And the story will be woven around this only. This is how we begins. The entire structure of adult continuing education, we all know, in the university system is a product of a well-planned, conceptualized policy intervention. At some places, it started in 1956, 57, 58 by the volunteerism of some eminent people, and then moved on to a very organized initiative from the government, which resulted into establishment of some centers, cells, and all that. Idea was, what was the idea? Idea was that something very intense and deep is happening in the university system. But it is not resulting into something which is horizontal in nature, which is acceptable to all people. Everybody is not gaining benefit out of it. That concern was at the core when people decided to link this initiative with the higher education system. Once it has been linked, what was the mandate? Mandate was also very simple, that you have the power of experimentation. All higher education systems were working on some guidelines. They have been following a very standardized curriculum, and it was easier to follow something which is very standardized, whether it is coming from your own system or it is being imported from some other places. Operationally, it is very easy to use, which is something which has been standardized, irrespective of the fact whether it is serving your purpose or not. We didn't take interest in knowing whether these things are serving our interest or not. Perhaps failure on that account mandated or necessitated the emergence of something which was little different in structure and function. And that was perhaps adult continuing education and extension departments. From the very first go, these structures started in thinking of making experiments. And what were the experiments? Do this. If it is failing, do something else. Others had no liberty to this because they were following a standard structure which said A, B, C, D, and it was leading to something. Our effort was leading to nowhere. So we had to be very exploratory every time, experimenting and exploratory. At some places, this resulted in something. At some places, it failed. And that was not the pain. It was not a bad idea. We spend a lot of money on researches, but all researches are not producing the result. So what we needed to look at is that each experiment is making some seminal contribution. These experiments had to be considered that way. We failed to recognize that it is bringing out something. That initiative raised from activities. Many of you may be knowing Madras University experimented with some social service structure. This adult education department. And the Tiruchirappalli experimented with something. Pune University experimented with something. Delhi University also experimented with something. But Delhi University's experiment I'm more familiar with, but I have gone through all these experiments in Tiruchirappalli, Pune, and Madras University. Even SNDT made some attempts. University of Mumbai's leadership program was one such idea. These initiatives were never recognized that these are meaningful interventions. Problem arose here. In a system which has a structure, which has been following it in letter and spirit, it didn't recognize anything happening which is not falling into that category. That was the problem. That became the difficulty of the whole higher education system, because you had no idea to experiment. You had no liberty to experiment. The liberty and idea both were coming from extension department in making experiments, and nobody was willing to accept it. Now I can see the way Professor Venkat made, that we are still continuing with the ideas of going to the community, making this, making that. This is what is the ruggedness of the extension system. This is what has been in our blood, and this has resulted in something, and this is likely to be resulting. Where are the results? Results you go to the national education policy of 2020, you will find a lot of things which you have been doing, which you have been making, which you have been experimenting. What are these experiments? It was very simple to look at. It was very simple to look at that all experiments are meant to bring out some changes in pedagogy. Who brought these changes in pedagogy? only those who experimented with newer pedagogy at the community, whether it was in terms of making people literate by using analytical methods, didactic methods, or some other methods, or mixing. Even you, many of you may not be knowing, there was a correspondent here in Delhi, Mr. G.P. Jain. He experimented with symbolic symbols and letters and words, and it was a fascinating idea. And we used him in some of our communities during 1988-89. But there was no recognition to it, so everything went along with it. Once he stopped working, we didn't pursue it further because there was hardly anything which was promoting these pursuances.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Hello. Yes, your voice is audible.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very happy to participate in the online webinar. The topic is Perspective of Lifelong Learning in the Light of NEP 2020. My topic is Prospects of Lifelong Learning with reference to NEP 2020. As you know, the guidelines of the NEP 2020, but my topic is always concentrated on the learners learning. And as you know that the NEP has given a highest priority to school education, higher education, culture, art, etc. But whereas I felt they have given a little scope and space for the adult education. If you see the NEP, you can find out. In this connection, I would like to say one quotation. The reflection without action is mere verbalism. The reflection without action is mere verbalism. The action without reflection is pure activism. What I am saying that action is more important in the learning process. Maybe formal learning or informal learning or non-formal learning. Whatever it is, learning is a learning. It is a continuous process, as you know that. And another statement is also there. Theory without practice leads to an empty idealism. Theory without practice. As far as the naturalism is concerned, the practice is more important. Theory without practice leads to an empty idealism. Sometimes idealism is also needed, but the materialist thought, materialist activities and experience is also more important to the learners, the students, or the community members, and others. Now come to the point. I think you know very well about the definition of the adult education. It refers to the formal learning or informal learning. But whereas in the lifelong learning, it is a broader concept and refers to the ongoing process of learning. Earlier speaker also explained that it is an ongoing process. There is no starting and there is no ending. It is a continuous process in the life, in everyone. Globally, it was accepted. So now we have a new program in India in terms of adult education or lifelong learning. The new program is New India Literacy Program. New India Literacy Program for financial year 22-27, which covers all aspects of adult education in the country in line with NEP 2020. This program also it was prepared by the NEP or the Government of India and also approved by the Parliament and HR. It will be run by the volunteers, students, teachers. The new program will be run by the volunteers, students, and teachers. My appeal is, we saw and we have an experience of the volunteers system in Sakshar Bharat. They should think about how far it is flexible and feasible, and how far it is the volunteerism will give the results in terms of lifelong learning. That is also my request. These volunteers and students and teachers must be registered under the United District System of Education, UDISE. These three category members should work under the control of UDISE as far as the New Indian Literacy Program. Now come to the point NEP. NEP has given a 5 steps, 5 areas or 5 steps. The first one is, and also NEP has given a permission to NCERT to prepare the curriculum framework. I have some doubt. What about the role of adult education? Adult education. And it has its own history and foundation. And thousands of people have been working and developed so many theories, principles, and pedagogies and activities, what not, everything. But whereas the NEP has given a permission to the NCERT to prepare the curriculum. This is my doubt. All elders and senior professors and members who are working, who are leading, and who are learning something from the LLM or adult education, they should think about it. What I feel, we are the right person. We means all technocrats who are working in adult education, who are working in the degree college, who are working in the district level, who are working in the grassroots level. I think they are the best person to prepare the curriculum. It should not be prepared at a higher level. It should be prepared at grassroots level. That is also one of the basic principles. Curriculum should be prepared from the grassroots level, not the higher level. And the NEP has given a 5 areas. One is fundamental literacy numeracy. The second one is critical life skills, including so many skills. The third one is vocational skills. The fourth one is basic education. The fifth one is continuing education, including so many sub areas. These areas should be covered and explained by the tutors, explained by the prayerecs, explained by the teachers, and explained by the professors or lecturers. And also, the NEP is also preparing the new methods. The school methods are always varied from the adult education methods. Is also good sign. The another second step is the NEP has given a direction to all schools and libraries to provide the space. That is also one of the doubtful sessions, I think, what I feel as a teacher. And means the entire lifelong learning simply depends on the schools and the libraries. Without their own infrastructure, maybe physical, maybe ICT, whatever it is. The third one is volunteerism. Qualified community members, adult literacy instructions, volunteers, tutors are eligible to teach the 5 areas. Here, again, they introduce the volunteerism. How far it is true, I don't know. The elders should think about it. Nowadays, what I feel that majority of the Indians are not serious about the literacy, including the village level, or district level, or the state level, or the nation level. So volunteerism is also one of the major problem, what I feel. The second one is the social workers should identify the non-enrolled and the dropout students. That is another step, 4th step. The 5th one is the government will work closely with NGOs. Here, the role of NGOs is also more important. They gave some permission, they gave some space for the NGOs to do some kind of meaningful work. And another one is the mission will be highly encouraged. Either adult education or lifelong learning, highly encouraged, supported, and funded. These questions are also must be clarified by the government of India and state government as well as the universities or the experts. Now come to the point, my topic, my area is the future of lifelong learning. The future of lifelong learning in terms of and in view of the NEP 2020. As you know that learning is a continuous process, you must accept the natural learning process is a response to the struggle for survival. Yes, no doubt. Everyone is learning, maybe formal, non-formal, informal. They are in the learning for the sake of struggle for survival. Learning is an act or the process of gaining experience. Learning for gaining experience, learning for knowledge, learning for attitude, learning for skills, and learning values. This is a broader area. The word may be very small, but the meaning is very, very complex. In this connection, I would like to say a few things which are explained by the John Dewey. Action is more important than the thought. Yes, really he stated, action is more important. Everyone must act properly, accordingly in learning. Then only the learner can achieve experience, gain knowledge, and change the attitude, and enhance the skills, and modify the values. This is a more secret. Action is more important than the thought merely. And another statement he gave, experience is the main criteria in learning. Experience, the learner experience is more important. Our teachers, our experts should think. And next, another quotation is also not quotation, and one of the suggestions. Utility is the prime in learning. It was stated by the John Dewey. Utility. Maybe lifelong learning, or adult education, or formal education, or informal education, non-formal education, whatever you take it, the utility is more important. Can you provide? Or after completion of the course is always ready to provide any kind of utility to the learners or not, is also more important issues. And next one is, I would like to say a few things regarding the learning. Learning depends on the three domains. As far as the psychology is concerned, no doubt, universally accepted. It was accepted by the communities and nations, institutions. Learning depends on the three domains. It was explained by Bloom taxonomy. It is also called as the Bloom taxonomy. The one is cognitive domain. The second one is affective domain. And third one is psychomotor domain. What I am saying that, if anybody wants to learn something, they must follow the three domains. Cognitive domain means brain. It leads to provide and it leads to knowledge. Affective domain, heart. It will give some kind of the attitudinal changes and values, and also create some interest. Affective domain, and that means affective domain involvement. Cognitive domain participation. And third one is psychomotor domain. It is leads to the issues of physical activities like skills. What I'm saying that, what I feel that, based on the psychology, the coordination among the three domains are more important in the learning. Otherwise, the learning will be remaining as an empty, without any fruits, without any results. The coordination. My request is the NEP, the experts, or planners, or university professors, or degree lecturers, whatever it is, the instructors, tutors should think about the coordination among the three. Then only you can enhance the lifelong learning prospects. You can enhance the lifelong learning prospects. Learning is interesting. Learning is interesting. It is based on the felt needs. Yes, no doubt. The learning is always depends on felt needs. It is based on the comprehensive. It is based on the comprehensive, critical thinking, and analytical understanding. These are the aspects are part and parcel of the learning. Learning means not reading, writing, and arithmetic. Learning means there are so many aspects which are part and parcel of, based on the philosophical, based on the psychological. I will explain later. The NEP 2020 and lifelong learning or adult education should follow these principles. I request you, on behalf of all the members, I request the government or institutions or the experts, the NEP should follow the above principles in terms of learning, in terms of the lifelong learning. That is my appeal. In India, come to the point, in India, traditionally, adult education mainly refers to training and education. This is not my statement, it was given by some experts. In India, traditionally, adult education mainly refers to training and education. We know that education for sustainable development of person, sustainable development of the community, and sustainable development of the nation. That is also more important. As far as the teaching method is concerned, the undergraduate should be a learner-centered. Yes, how far it is true? Learner-centered is more important. than the teacher-centered. Learner-centered means is a two-way learning, two-way process in terms of learning. Teacher-centered is a one-way process. I think it is not useful to the learner. Lifelong learning denotes continuous process, including formal and informal. And come to the point, another point is lifelong learning implies an attitudinal change. That is also more important. Change is inevitable in the human life. Change is inevitable in the human life. The learning should bring some changes in the learner's life, including cognitive and affective. And another point, as far as psychology is concerned, the law of readiness is more important. As far as Thorndike is concerned, the law of readiness, readiness of learner, the readiness of the tutor or the prayer, the readiness of the professors or lecturers, the readiness of the planners are also more important. The law of readiness. Without the readiness, the learning is also remaining as an empty. And another important issue is participation of the learner. Participation of the learner. Participation in the learning activity is a praiseworthy. Participation in the learning activity is a praiseworthy. In India, almost all, India concentrated on literacy and European on participation of learner. This is the difference between the European adult education or European lifelong learning as well as the Indian lifelong learning system. India is always concentrated on the literacy, but European countries are always concentrated on the participation of the learner. That is also more important. And another core important issue is the lifelong learning must have 4 pillars. This is my perception. The lifelong learning must have 4 pillars. The first one is philosophical thought, and second one is psychological aspect, and third one is sociological norms, and fourth one is economical principles. Based on the 4 pillars, and means philosophical thought. As you know that every nation has own philosophy. Like that, every human being is also having own philosophy. But the lifelong learning must have some philosophy. That is my appeal. Philosophy can drive the nation, can guide the nation. The philosophy is also can guide and drive the individual. That is the basic principle of philosophy. Next, psychological aspect, that is also must. The government is always trying to give the funding and guiding and giving some principles. My request is they should not forget the psychological aspects which are part and parcel of the lifelong learning. Then only we can try to flourish the lifelong learning. And another third one is sociological norm. That is also more important. Without society, there is no human life. You are the part and parcel of the community and society. The sociological norms are also more important. The lifelong learning must follow the social norms. And finally, utility, the economical principles. Utility is more important. Output is more important. That is also another program. So, my request is, my NEP 2020 shall embody the above suggestions and principles in terms of lifelong learning. It is also these 4 principles. If you really ready to accept and adopt it and imbibe these 4 principles, certainly you can see the future of lifelong learning. Not today. It will continue in the future. Last point is, everything is fine. The principles are fine, good, and it was prepared by the government of India and sent to the state government, and in turn, the central government is also sent to the universities and district headquarters and the prayerex and churches. What is good? But what about the role of academicians now and technocrats? Most of the principles are prepared by the bureaucrats. But I am saying that I am requesting all senior members who are working in the field of adult education as a technocrats, as academician, please come together, sit together and prepare some modules, prepare some guidelines and submit to the government of India and change and bring some kind of changes and help the lifelong learning area. And next one is role of universities and degree colleges. In this connection, I would like to say one question. S. Paul, the former UGC chairman, had stated that close the doors of university and open the windows of villages or community. This is a good statement. you try to work at the grassroots level. You are always confined to the four walls of the universities. Is it true or not? Is it accept or not? I don't know. But I am suggesting all universities must try to settle or work or try to work at the grassroots level and try to motivate them, help them, guide them, and mend them, and bring some change, maybe mental or physical, whatever it is. That is my request to all universities to do some kind of work. And at school level, there is one principle: school complexes. Nowadays, there are so many school complexes are working for the sake of, for the welfare of the student. I request you, all the members, why don't you form and prepare college complex or university complex to work more and more effectively. That is my appeal, my request, my suggestions. And role of the state government. Come to the point, the central government and state governments have been spending crores of rupees on welfare schemes. Crores of rupees. Especially in my state is also spending 1 lakh crore rupees in terms of welfare, free money scheme or other welfare schemes. I request you, the government of India and the state governments, you can provide the welfare schemes to the people, but I request you, please make some link with the literacy programs or lifelong learning program. That is also give some kind of the results. The condition, I am saying that too much freedom is always danger.
Distinguished Vice Chancellor, Alagappa University, Karaikudi, resource persons, guests, scholars and students, good afternoon to you all. On behalf of the Department of Lifelong Learning, Alagappa University, Karaikudi, Department of Lifelong Learning and Extension, Gandhigram Institute, Gandhigram, Department of Adult and Continuing Education, Sri Venkateswara University, Tirupathi, Department of Lifelong Learning, Bharathidasan University, Tiruchirappalli, Indian Adult Education Association, New Delhi, Tamil Nadu chapter, and on my own behalf, I feel it privileged to propose vote of thanks on this occasion. My special thanks to Dr. R. Venkatravi, Head of the Department, Department of Lifelong Learning and Extension, Gandhigram, and today's felicitation addressee for his valuable speech. Thank you very much, sir. I feel privileged to say respectable thanks to Professor L. Raja, President, Indian Adult Education Association, and today's keynote addressee, who is kind enough in sharing his unstinted messages to us. We are really grateful to you, sir, for your valuable presence. Thank you very much, sir. It is my duty to propose my thanks to Professor B. Shammohan David Raju, sir, Vice Principal, Sri Venkateswara University, College of Arts, Sri Venkateswara University, Tirupathi, and today's special addressee for his extempored talk. Thank you very much, sir. I would like to express my deepfelt thanks to Dr. J.P. Dubey, Professor, Department of Adult and Continuing Education and Extension, New Delhi, and today's special addressee for setting the tone of the event to his insightful address. Thank you very much, sir. I thank Dr. N. Johnson, Head of the Department, Department of Lifelong Learning, Alagappa University, Karaikudi, and Dr. T. Kumudavalli, Head of the Department, Department of Lifelong Learning, Bharathidasan University, Tiruchirappalli, who have joined and collectively extended their support for the success of the program. Last but not least, my thanks to distinguished guests, scholars, and students for their cooperation in making the function success. Thank you, one and all.